everybody. This is Keisha Lacey, your horror hostess of this podcast of the Random Horror Show. And I'm just having like a bonus with y'all. We're going to be talking about Raised by Wolves Season 2, Episode 6, The Tree. And for those of you who are just now tuning in or wondering what is this right here, of course, here at the Random Horror Show, where we film commentating being random and silly, as usual, being off tangents on horror, science fiction, fantasy, cult classics, and the obscure in movies, television, and books. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, now that was an episode of Raised by Wolves. I was just pretty emotional. And you talking about it was really emotional. I'm not gonna give you any spoilers or anything else like that. Maybe about a smidge of them. Just a smidge, just a pee touch smidge. But that episode. Um, First of all, I do like this episode because of Tempest. Tempest is the one that was pregnant by the guy um, who was literally, sexually assaulting her on the Ark ship, and they caught him in the act of it, and she got pregnant by him. Um, I, I liked how they um, really worked that in because if you say like it's subliminally of saying about women's reproductive rights, especially what's going on with the current situation, especially here in Texas, where they totally just made abortion illegal. If you're pro-life or pro-choice and everything, this is not something like on here I'm going to be debating about or whatever. Um, but just trying to like just be, how would I put it? Just be neutral because I just like to talk about shows and movies and things like that that I review or watched or whatever. But I did like how they slipped in, especially it was in the middle of the first season of that we learned about Tempest, one of the survivors of the Ark, and how them being Mithraic and worshiping Soul is that in a way they just like, oh, we sorry that this dude is like been doing this to you. You was in hypersleep. At the time when they was in hypersleep, she was around 16 years old, and somewhere during that journey on the ark, that he just picked her out and just started doing just these disgusting things, violating her body, unknowingly that he was doing that until, you know, I think what she did is that she woke up during that time he was doing all that. Um, like I said, he did die in the first season because, he deserved it, but she was carrying his child, and she had a lot of resentment because of carrying her rapist child inside of her. And I don't blame Tempest's feelings on that and everything. And I think a lot of times when stuff like that happens, in our society, and I don't like when people sit there and, for some others, I don't know anybody that has been in a situation like that, but just empathizing of just like and imagining, I'm like, whoo, that's a lot. That's really a lot because it affected Tempest mentality a lot. And the very emotional scene that she had is that she had her child. She was supposed to go and get ready for the birth of her child. There has been an acceleration because of the planet that they're on, which is Kepler 22, has accelerated um, the growth of the child. And so she decided on her own to like have the child right over by the rocks next to the ocean, because on the in the tropical zone the ocean is very acid. It's like dangerous, you burn, you get shit, you just stick your finger in the water, you get burned. So that scene, the lady who is portrays Tempest, she did a wonderful job of like capturing the emotion of like, when somebody has um, birthing a child alone, and she took that risk and that choice to have that child alone, and I can see why she did that, and it's because she felt so alone all through her pregnancy, even though mother, tried to tell her that, like, you're carrying an organic being, and your mind will change like after this and everything because you're carrying life and yada yada yada. And of course mother is an android, and of course she used to be a necromancer, but it just felt like nobody just did not understand how Tempest felt deeply inside. And you know what? She actually was telling them all through this time about this pregnancy, how it's affecting her. Her thoughts on, like, even though the guy was killed last season, um, he, it still had like a sting on her. It's a lot to it and it's very complicated. I know that, I mean, I've been pregnant twice. I've never had that happen, to me, but just the whole pregnancy emotions, the whole carrying a child for, nine and a half months, close to 10, um, the your hormones fluctuate and things like that. Like, I get that. And, for her to be 16, but, since they were on the arc, she's at least, like, from the traveling stage, she's like 28 or close to 30. But, she still has that child body and things like that, because, how space is different, from real time, like, if you're like on Earth and you're like that. But that was a very beautiful and emotional scene that Tempest, just that scene alone, just how she, oh my gosh, I mean, it had me in tears. It really did. It had me in tears. And I was just like, oh my God. But there's something that happened after that, and I was just like bawling. I was quite upset of what happened after she had her child. Uh, it just, just me as a mother, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I wish I was on this show. I wish I was there on the planet, and I just want to help Tempest, because it just seems like a lot of people were just ignoring her, and then she kind of got hooked up with a guy in one of the camps and stuff that was like, hey, me, I think he's gonna like help me take care of the baby, because she was worried about that. That's what she was worried about. I see that she did make her decision of like to keep her child. And I would say, like, I think it's more of like an influence of mother and how everybody was, but I think they just didn't give Tempest like that conscious decision for herself to like have, to carry her baby in, to actually have, have it, and be happy about it, because she wasn't happy. She wasn't happy when she was carrying it. I think in that moment when she was having it, she felt that power, that connection, because she didn't feel that connection when she was pregnant. And when she had it, she felt that. And it was very beautiful. Um, and I kind of can relate to something like that too. Personally, for me, and of course, me being a mother, it's not always that when some woman is pregnant, it's like the most happiest thing in her whole life. For some women, it is, and some women it's not. And I think when you say something that is the opposite of that, people think you're horrible for saying that. But I totally understand like how Tempest's feelings are of like especially having a child and you have you carrying it in your body's changing, and guess what? Pregnancy is basically a life or death situation, just not for the mother, but also for the child too. Um, Another thing that I was pissed off at Mother, and now you get to see Mother really act a super bitch. Mother is actually jealous. She is so jealous because Father have found another android. He has brought this android to life with fuel blood and also his blood that came from him. And guess what? The android was the one that saved Campion whenever he escaped from Marcus's camp. Um, the android is actually a really huge, huge, big clue of Kepler 22. Mother was so jealous that it actually had the same technology as her, um, had the same type of form just like her as a necromancer. But this android spoke old Mithraic. And I was just like, oh snap, look at Mother. She's getting jealous. And she also made me mad because she is throwing Campion into this role of a leader because she shut the trust down. And so she's telling all the people, like, hey, people, y'all get to rule yourselves and stuff. But she put Campion as their leader. And I was just like, I gotta say it like this. That's abusive to me. It's abusive. So you putting all of this responsibility of him being a leader for the colony, and this dude and Campion doesn't even know nothing about being a leader for, this is not 10 people, this is like more than 1,000 people. um the population on Kepler 22, since the Mithraic was there, art got shut down, blah blah blah. And then the colony, the atheist colony, has settled there on the planet too. So it is at least about like 10,000 people just from both parties. And so I'm like this. So you telling me you putting this boy up to something like this? I'm like, you didn't teach him leadership shit and everything else? Like he's some kind of like Julius Caesar or like, or something like that. And I'm just like scratching my head, and I was like, okay, mom, mother, you putting the motherfucker wrong right there. And I felt that like mother should have like at least, if you're gonna do something like that of shutting down the trust, you should at least let the people decide who they want to be as their leader so they can move ahead and for the survival. But you put Campion, a little 14-year-old boy, to do this shit. I'm like, you done lost it with me, mother. Like, mother is a sociopath. She really is. She is a sociopath, just like David. David had um sociopathic tendencies. And I'm talking about David on Prometheus. And of course, this is by Ridley Scott. His like androids always had sociopathic behaviors, from Alien to like Prometheus and Alien Covenant, where David killed his other android brother, of course, that was Michael Fassbender playing him. Um, took his personality and everything else on Covenant, and realizing that I forgot the chick's name, but realizing that was David, and it scared the shit out of her. I'm like, what's so more terrifying, an android that's just going by programming, or an android that is coming up as a sentient being, have watched humans, how they act, everything else, having all of these humanistic behaviors, and being a sociopath with it. So she's becoming so sociopathic because father does not trust her. You have seen how she talks to father. Father has to like walk on eggshells around mother. That's the reason why he hid the android that he was, creating and things like that, bringing it back to life in that tool shed. And he knew that if mother found out, she would be very, very disappointed, because to her, you're not doing your duties as like an android. We're getting too close to human. We're getting too close to human. Yeah, that's what she always says to father, but then you're gonna do some shit. You're gonna do some shit on the side, like she's a hypocrite. Mother is a hypocrite. She's abusive. She's a sociopath. And she thinks she's doing everything right, but shit, she is doing some wrong ass shit. Now, I did like last week's episode of where her and Marcus was like, she was telling Marcus, like, look, we got to get him, Paul into, get him some help, because the bioweapon of Mouse got all over Paul. Now, that's understandable, but it's like two wrongs don't make a right with Marcus and Mother. They really don't. Two wrongs don't make a right. Another thing about Mother that, like I said, it really pissed me off is that she told when they captured Marcus, and she told Marcus to denounce Soul in front of the children so he can get his freedom. He's not gonna do that, girl. Like, dumb, like, you dumb ass android. He's not gonna do that. Because in the beginning, Marcus took the place of the real Marcus, him and Sue, to get on the ship so they can, escape from Earth because of all of the war. They pretended to be Mithraic and believe in soul. Well, when they landed on the planet, and then all of this junk was happening, he started hearing voices, things like that. He did get Mother's eyes, and it made him like feel like he was just this prophet and very invincible. And now he believes in soul. Well, last week with Sue, she prayed to Soul because she was desperate, and she finally got Paul back, and he's doing very well, by the way. And now they're believers of Soul. Well, with this like being said of how Mother sit there and said that to Marcus, and I was just like, no, you're pretty fucking wrong, bitch. Like, you can't do that. Like, I'm with Marcus. I'm on Marcus' side now, because he was atheist and then he believed in soul. But we know what all would happen for him to believe in soul. But now we see that Marcus really wholeheartedly believes in soul. You can't take that. You can't take that away from him, and that's what Mother doesn't understand. Of course, she's an android, but you can't make somebody say that and say, "Oh, we're gonna give you freedom," because Marcus was not gonna say that. He wasn't even gonna lie. And that's the reason why he didn't say shit. But you know what? I was like, Marcus, I stand by you, because you actually do believe in soul, and you believe by you believe your faith. And Mother is wrong. She's stupid. Going to sit there and tell him, like, denounce it in front of the children. What? And just making it seem like he is the danger. She's actually a danger also. Actually, both of them are a danger. That's like that tit for tat, you this and you that, you danger. No, you danger because you this and you that. And see, they just missing the whole motherfucking point and everything. That look, both of y'all on stuck on a damn planet, and I don't see no cavalry coming to get y'all, or y'all making some damn advancements your damn self because you're still fighting over shit. You just brought all that shit from Earth to this planet. Like I said, y'all brought all that shit over here, and y'all still in the same ass mess. Go figure. But yeah, so Mother is, like I said, Mother is quite jealous. Like what I was saying, Mother is quite jealous of the android. She went to go take it to get it examined. Everything is just the same programming, everything else intricate, you name it, all bells and whistles. But there was something different about this android that Mother is very jealous. She don't like it, and I feel that she's going to destroy it. But when Father said something about the seventh child, which is the serpent that she birthed, she gonna get all upset. Tell me, don't you be hurting him? Don't you be hurting my child? I'm just like, that motherfucker could be a danger also later on, because number one, you're not being there with the serpent. Um, Campion went to the cage. They have it, locked up like in this little prison, cave, whatever, they hold the snake in, the serpent. And, Campion went to go, make sure it's good because it was making lots of noises and everything. And, it could have hurt Campion. But, Mom to the rescue, she calmed it down and stuff. But I was just like, but it can be a danger to the people. But see that hypocrite shit that she be doing? That's the hypocrite shit. And I feel that like she might pull a damn David on everybody. I do. I feel like she's gonna pull a fucking David. It's gonna be sooner or later. She's gonna snap one day and pull a David. Now there is an artifact that Sue and Marcus have obtained. Sue is, has like helped Marcus escape. Her and Paul, and Mother is like upset and trying to get them back. And I was just like, leave them alone. Like, leave them alone. Like, damn girl, leave them alone. Why? Why you? Why? Why? Why you? Why? Leave their ass alone. If they want to be together like that, you see what I'm saying? And get away, like, please have respect for that. Like, do have respect for them. I mean, you upset because, yeah, because she's upset because Sue now believes in soul. Okay, but that's her choice. I mean, yes, she did pray to soul to help Paul, but okay, leave her alone. You don't have to get all upset. Like, why are you getting upset? For what? That's that sociopathic shit right there. That's that controlling shit. Mother is controlling. She really is. She's very controlling. Like a lot of damn overprotective, manipulative mothers that are out there. If you have one, I am so sorry. I am so terribly sorry if you have a mother like that. I am dead ass sorry. My mom is dead. She's been dead for 20 years and shit. I know we had our rounds and stuff, but goddamn, wasn't all like that, 'cause we both cussed each other out. The feeling was mutual and everything. My mom was cool and shit, but it was some things I had to tell my mama and stuff. And yes, she was. She did have her serious, very very serious addiction with drugs and everything, and that's the reason why I understand addiction. But other than that, when she was dry and sober and everything, my mom was popping like a motherfucker and stuff. She didn't play like that. She was very kind, very generous, had a lot of grace and everything else. Addiction is a sickness and everything. I know people out there to be like, oh, why are you getting on stuff, drugs and stuff like that? This is like you don't understand their situation. Or it could be like them dealing with a lot of childhood trauma and a lot of things like that. Um, you know how it is when people start using drugs, it's just for fun time and party. And then when they get deep down in the shit, they use it to drown out their pain, their traumatic issues, and they drown. They there to they use it to drown it out. It's a cycle. It's a very twisted sickness. It's a cycle and their shit with them. And I really do. I really hate drug addiction, but I really do empathize people that are fighting addiction, and I applaud people who get off of drugs and stay sober, and then they do have to take one day at a time and everything. They do. And I wish more people were more understanding of that. But enough of that right there. But yeah, I mean, this episode is really, really good. I like this episode because, I mean, we see something differently other than the same old whooshy woo bullshit. So, no, the atheist, so. But we now see the changes like within the children. To me, the children have much more damn sense than the adults. They just do. These kids have more sense than the fucking adults in this show. I'm like, I'm with the kids, you know what I'm saying? I'm like this, kind of like, damn everybody. I mean, Sue is my favorite. Sue is my favorite. Um, but I'm more like, damn everybody. I mean, Father is okay. Like, Father has his charm and stuff. Mother, I used to like be on her side with a lot of things, but the more how Mother is, Mother is completely a sociopath. She has sociopathic tendencies and behaviors, and I'm not cool with that. But then again, that's like the magic of Ridley Scott and his androids. There's some fucking walking sociopaths, and and like they always do, they find something unique, and interesting that is a little bit more evolved than human beings. And it doesn't even matter how dangerous. It doesn't matter if it kills all human beings and shit. They don't care. Um they literally be on the creature's side. Even the creature is like killing every human, and I'm just like, I'm scratching my head on that and everything, because I'm like, is it the humans that actually put you together, put your programming together and things like that? There's nothing wrong with respecting life and alien life forms and things like that. But I think like the missing point of like androids, of what they think, even though if it's like a danger to like human beings, they're just like, oh, well, we just gonna let them do their nature how they supposed to do. But then again, it's like this, like they see human beings like, with wars and murders and things like that. So in their like mind, an android's mind, it's like this creature is acting the way how it naturally is, just the same as human beings naturally act the way how they are. And I see that too. I really do. I actually see that, but I'm just like this. Is the damn creature and shit like them xenomorphs and everything? Are they gonna put your motherfucking ass together? Nope, because you had a damn. I'm talking about David's ass because like I noticed that engineer twisted your motherfucking head off. You know shit. Your wig hit the damn floor when the engineer saw you, and then you try to speak to it. The engineer got so pissed on Prometheus. Shit, twisted David head off like a damn soda bottle cap. Boy, they had me laughing right there. I was like, God damn. I sure did. I cracked up laughing on Prometheus when that happened. But yeah, I mean, cause like, but sometimes I do question androids. I'm like, are they really that helpful for humans, or are they a detriment to humans? I don't know. We don't have any androids, but I mean, we have like these robots with these human characteristics and facial features and shit like that and everything. But sometimes I be wondering and stuff. I'm like, man, is it gonna be like some Ridley Scott Prometheus androids, or we gonna have like Star Trek androids? Like Data and stuff. Like Data was cool in a fan though. I mean, at least like Data, he always had that emotional chip and he'd stick that bitch in. But you know what? But like Data came through though. Data came through on first contact though. With the damn board queen. Shit, he wanted to be with her ass and everything, but he was like, man, I'm Starfleet. These been my friends and shit. You know, shit, Data saved the damn day on first contact, bro. Shoot. I love me some Data though. Like Data the shit now. He really is. That's a cool ass android. But if Data ever met Mother, like he'd be cool with Father, but he be like telling like Father like, man, your jokes are corny. Man, what's up with them dad jokes? I quite say, sir, your dad jokes are very, very corny, and I do not find them very hilarious. And then he gonna like do that. He's like, I'm gonna use sarcasm, and then he like throwing that fake ass Android laugh and shit like they'd be doing and stuff. Boy, that would be so hilarious. That would be so hilarious. But anyways, y'all check out the Tree 6th episode of Raised by Wolves season 2. And of course, I'm out this bitch and I need a refill on my motherfucking coffee and everything. And I want everybody to have a good night. And thank you for listening to the Random Horror Show with our bonus podcast of Raised by Wolves season 2, episode 6, The Tree. Y'all have a good night.